Yo, what up? You are listening to the NBA Big Board Podcast. This is your host, Rafael Barlowe, and I have a special guest for you today. I think he is one of the most slept on prospects in this draft. Find out who I'm talking about next on the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast. All right, shout out to each and every person that has made the NBA Big Board Podcast your first listen of the day. And in today's episode, I have one of my favorite prospects, and I'm not saying it just because he's here. I mean, the proof is on old podcasts, and it all started against my Huskers. And I spoke to him briefly at the Combine. Dereon Seabron from NC State. Thanks again for coming on, man. How's everything going for you?
Everything been going good. You know, it's a long process, but I'm just trying to enjoy it. Take all the information in. Meeting a lot of new people. So yeah, I'm enjoying the process.
I bet, man. All right, so I have so many questions. This time last year, nobody really had you as someone that was a projected, a guy that could possibly go first round or whatever. You averaged, what was it, like 5 points a game?
Yeah, something like that.
So you literally come out of nowhere. And I feel like I was kind of early to the Dereon Seabron party, but I wasn't aware of you until you had, to me, the most impressive game of the entire college basketball season. I know the numbers were a little bit inflated because the game went into multiple overtimes, but What was it, 39 points and 18 rebounds?
39, 19 rebounds.
19 rebounds. So, all right. So I'm from Nebraska, right? So I'm naturally a Husker fan. So I'm looking at the box score and I see 39 and 19. So I'm thinking all right, this must be Shaq, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm thinking these are some Shaquille O'Neal type numbers. So I go pull up the film and I just see this slim dude that's rebounding in traffic, turning rebounds into personal fast breaks, just relentlessly attacking the rim. And I was like, I'm gonna follow this guy the rest of the year. So I did some podcasts, but I want to say, man, it was probably back in November, and I started kind of talking about you. So my question to you is, I talked about it briefly at the Combine, is where did you get your game from? I can't put you in a box in a position. You just a ball player. And so I can usually tell when guys grew up playing with trainers and dudes that just been hooping. Yeah. So where's the rec center? Who put the ball in your hand? Where did you get this unique style from?
Really, like you said, just the rec center. My mom used to get off work at 6, so we got out of school around I want to say middle school. We got 2:45, so I just go to the rec until from that point all the way to when my mom got off work. She would pick us up from the rec center, but I just hoop. Even in the beginning, I just hoop in my school uniform and some regular shoes. It didn't really matter. I just be up there the whole day just hooping.
So even though I know that you are just a ball player, what is your natural position? Do you feel like you can just play anywhere, or do you feel more comfortable at the one? I imagine some people probably think you are 4 because of the way you rebound. What is, in your opinion, what is your best position?
Like you said, I don't really think I got a one particular position, but I think I play. I think the most effective is having the ball in my hand.
I agree. But what's crazy is you can go get the ball, right? Yeah. You can turn a rebound. I mean, you average 8 rebounds a game. Now, how much did you weigh in at the Combine?
I want to say 183 or something like that.
183. So how tall were you without shoes? Well, actually, how tall were you with shoes? I don't even care about the without shoes height, because I'm that's so weird to me. I was arguing with someone last week and about heights. And I'm well, why we put without shoes? They hooping in shoes. So there's no point. So 6'6", 183, average 8 rebounds per game. You were ranked in the top 100 in all of college basketball in rebounds. Then you also chipped in 3 assists. And at the Combine, one of the things that I really liked for you was, and it was unfortunate because I think Montero was your point guard, John Montero. Okay. Yeah. And then he got poked in the eye. So the next day, the show was yours. You got a chance to run the offense. And so I had mentioned it in a previous podcast, and you may remember this, but I'm sitting there at the Combine, I'm front row, and it's a whole team, their whole scouting staff is by me. and you had blew by somebody for like the third or fourth time, and the coach on the other side is like, stay in front of him. And the coaches or the staff from this team looked at each other and it was like, you can't. Like,
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that at the combine.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was glad that you had the opportunity to really get a chance to show that you can handle the ball, because with your speed, you don't even really need a pick. You can just beat the guy just off straight line drives.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this whole draft process for you. How many teams have you worked out for?
11.
11 teams. So has there, I mean, you don't have to name the teams. Has there been any teams that like put you through like some crazy workout that you felt like it's not even basketball related?
Nah, not out of the ones that I had so far, but I definitely heard there's a couple out there that were like have you doing stuff that's not related to basketball.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So I was hoping to get a crazy story. Like when you're working out with these teams, like, do you feel like they've really done their research on you and fully know who you are? Or do you feel like some teams haven't? And the reason I'm asking is because I knew someone last year that went through the process, and he was a guy that kind of was positionless. And sometimes he'd be in a workout with five, sometimes he'd be in a workout with guards.
Yeah.
And he felt like he just felt like sometimes he was just in some really bad matchups because I think he said one time he had to work out with Luka Garza, had to guard him, and the kid is only like 190 pounds. And so have you had any of those situations where you feel like a team didn't really do their full homework on you?
I wouldn't say like they didn't do their full homework, but I feel like throughout the workout, if I work out with a team, I feel like I surprised them in like a lot of areas in my game or like things they didn't know that I could do well.
So what would be one of the areas that you surprised the team with? Because, you know, like watching your film, and I've studied it extensively, I mean, you rebound, you hustle, you can pass, and then you can get to the rack when you want. Was there something that you have in your bag, but that you didn't really get a chance to show during the season?
A lot of teams be surprised with like the way I could pass the ball. Like they seen it a little bit, you know, but with the way our offenses ran, there's like a couple of reads that I couldn't make and like during the season that I've been making in, you know, like the workouts. And then I'd say another thing is like how everybody like question my shooting ability. You know, like almost at every workout they either do it towards the end or in the beginning, you'll shoot like 100 shots or probably like 1-on-1. Like they'll call it whatever their team name and then just put 1-on-1 behind it. Okay. Then I probably have a good amount of mates and they'd be like, oh yeah, I didn't know you could shoot the ball that well.
And I've read all the scouting reports on you. And one of the things that's consistent is they say you need to improve as a shooter. But most people will say the shot isn't broken. Yeah, like the shot can easily be fixed. So this is just my assumption. Has it been one of those things where you've been able to get to the rack so easy that you haven't really had to develop a reliable jumper?
Yeah, that's especially like, I want to say, from my junior year of high school, like up until now, like you said, I was able to get to the paint at will. So like I felt like if I was to take jumpers sometimes, I feel like I'd be
bailing them out. Yeah,
or like bailing defense out. So I just felt like I would be the best shot for me to like try to get to the rim, you know, either finish or draw a foul or like make an open pass to one of my teammates.
See, I feel like I've been spot on with all of my assumptions. All right. When we return, I'll get to, I have so many more questions, but I want to talk to the audience about Prize Picks. And if you're looking for daily fantasy options, check out Prize Picks. You must check out the award-winning app. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 5 players and the over and under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times any entry, and it is just you versus the projected numbers. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that simple. Prize Picks is safe, and it offers fast withdrawals. So use the award-winning app on the App Store and Google Play. Prize Picks offers any prop you can think of, from point scored to rebounds and steals. And it also allows mixed sport entries. So users can take the over on, let's say, LeBron, on the under on Patrick Mahomes. And Prize Picks doesn't just offer NBA. They have options for college basketball, college football, NFL, Major League Baseball, soccer, MMA, and more. And now, for a limited time, Prize Picks has an exclusive no-brainer of an offer for all of our users. Users get $50 free if a player in your first Prize Picks entry scores a single point, but you must use the code NBA. That's right. This is an exclusive offer available to our Locked On fans. Sign up today and use the code NBA. $50 free if any player in your prize picks entry scores a single point. All right, now I want to talk to you about the ultimate NBA mock draft. It starts on June 16th. And with over 50 insiders, nothing equals the ultimate NBA mock draft. Nobody does it like Locked On and the Locked On NBA Big Board draft experts, including myself, plus the Odyssey insiders will be, we're doing this draft. It's going to be fun, especially for guys that want to see. It's kind of like fantasy basketball in a sense with the Locked On staff. The first pick is June 16th. Search the ultimate NBA mock draft and follow now so you do not miss a pick. All right, once again, it's Rafael Barlowe, director of scouting for NBA Big Board guy Dereon Seabron. And we're just kind of talking about his draft process. So you mentioned that teams are kind of shocked at your ability to shoot the ball and also some of the reads that you are making. So in your workouts, are you doing a lot of 2-on-2? Is it 3-on-3? Or have you had a chance to like really get up and down the floor?
Most of them is like, they either probably start you off with 1-on-1 and then get into threes. They'll give you a couple actions, how to like what to play out of or what coverages to do on defense, and then you'll probably get shots of it towards the end. But yeah, they definitely let you get up and down. We'll play 3-on-3 full court. And actually today was like one of the first workouts I played 1-on-1 full court. So yeah, you get up and down.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
See, all right. So one of my bucket lists was I wanted to go to the combine, and I knocked it off this year. I wanted to go to like some pro days. Did a lot of that at the combine, but now I want to go to like one of these NBA team workouts, and I want to see the 1-on-1 stuff. I want to see like, especially like, I think it's unfair to have you in a 1-on-1 full court workout. That like plays to your strengths. And so one of the things I always ask people, and even agents, and this is something that the fans may not even really know about, the cat and mouse, the chess game that goes on behind the workouts, right? So if I'm an agent, right, and I hear Team X does 1-on-1 full court workouts, I'm pulling my guy out of that workout if I see your name on the list. Because it's just not going to be beneficial to him, especially if he's someone that, let's say his reputation is to be a good defender. Well, even if you're a good defender, in 1-on-1, there's no help defense, and a great defender, can't stop a great offensive player. And so, I've seen it from the flip side. Like I had a friend tell me that this was years ago, he said he was in a workout, and he was more so of a scorer, but he said he was in a workout with this freak athlete, and the dude was touching the square, windmilling, and then he gets up there, he's like, he got the rim grazer dunks, and he was like, it didn't really look good. All right, so I want to talk about the jump that you made from your freshman to sophomore year. Your numbers tripled. Was it something that you did over the summer? In your opinion, what was the main reason for the huge jump?
To be honest, the main reason was really just, the opportunity to being on the floor more, just getting comfortable, like coming from high school to college, it was an adjustment as far as the game speed and, the physicality and everything like that. But I feel like my freshman year, I didn't, get a good amount of playing time for me to like showcase what I could do. So I feel like this past year with me playing, I could just like show people what I was capable of doing.
And that's one of the things that actually kind of scares me about this whole process. Like there's somebody somewhere that's not getting the opportunity, right? And they may be an NBA prospect, or they're in the wrong fit and they're not getting the opportunity. And so, for you, it's like the opportunity turns you from a 5-point per game scorer to a legitimate NBA prospect. What was the game this year, or maybe you knew before the season, that you realized, like, you know what, I'm going to the league, I'm ready for it? Or is it something that you knew all along?
Nah, it was crazy. After we played Duke, like we had lost and everything, but like one of my close friends, he had sent me a link to Coach K interview. And then, like he was talking about the game, and then I see him say like Seabron is a pro. I was like, oh, like that's when they really hit me, when I just hearing it from other coaches, and especially like a coach like him.
So was it the first game or the second game?
Yeah, we only played Duke one time.
We only played once. Okay.
Yeah. Like during the year, I heard it from, multiple head coaches, like even after the game during, like handshake lines, like they'll tell me, I'd be like, yeah, go get your money this year and stuff like that. But hearing it from Coach K, it like solidified it for me.
Yeah, because that game you were 7 for 17, but you had 16 points, 10 rebounds. And what's funny is on paper, that wasn't one of your better games, but
Yeah.
you showed enough. Outside of Nebraska, what was your best game?
I'd probably say Florida State the first time at like Florida State at our place.
Oh yeah, 12 or 14.
Yeah.
How many jumpers did you hit that game?
I hit one.
And then okay, you were 1 of 2 from 3, right?
Yeah.
And then what was your
I missed a couple free throws that game too, so I supposed to have more than 32. But
so where does this, and it's probably goes back to my first question, like this drive comes from, where you just know like you can just get to the rack and you're not afraid. I think, man, I had the stats in my head. I think at one point this year, it was either 79 or 80% of your shots were at the rim.
oh yeah, it probably was. I think I remember seeing people say that on Twitter.
Like how are you getting to the rack when your name is first on the scouting report and teams know exactly what you're looking to do? Like, explain that to me.
I don't know. I really feel like it's because like my size, and then with me having that and then speed, I feel like even when people know I'm gonna get there, like I can still get to the rim anytime I want.
All right, so here's a question for you. How do you think you will look with NBA spacing? Because college basketball, the lane is congested. A lot of times you're in the floor with bigs that don't space the floor, traditional bigs. I know everybody's been standard about Jaden Ivey, how good he's going to look when he gets in the NBA, because he played with, the two traditional bigs that didn't really space the floor. But I feel like your name should be mentioned in that same category, because your percentage of points at the rim were even higher than his. So how do you think you'll look with NBA spacing?
I think I'll definitely flourish more in the NBA than I did in college. With, like you said, especially like the scouting reports against me, like every team we played was trying to like pat the paint, make sure I didn't get as many paint touches. And then, like you said, I was still able to get there. So I feel like with the lead spacing, it's going to be even crazier.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. In your opinion, why do you feel you're still a little underrated? Is it because, do you think if you came into college with a bigger name, it would have helped you out a little bit, or do you think people just weren't paying attention to NC State? Because I can say the same thing about your teammate Traquavion. Like, I thought he was the first round pick, but I think I was one of the first people, and this was late in the year, that had posted him as like a potential first round pick, and people never even heard of him.
Yeah, it was definitely because we wasn't winning no games, so it wasn't really getting that attention. And then I feel like a lot of people like even looked at me and T stats on like, I don't know, just because we losing, like we getting ours, but we're losing. So they probably thinking that the ways we getting it or the way we play wasn't effective in the games.
I can see that. But even then, at the end of the day, it's still the ACC. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are playing.
That was another thing. Like, I feel like people were downplaying the ACC this year, saying like we didn't have a good year, but it was like 3 teams that made it to like the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or something like that from our conference. So
yeah, you had, plenty of NBA draft picks. All right, one more segment to go, but I want to talk to the audience about BetOnline, and that's because BetOnline is the #1 source for all of your betting stats and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, news, and odds, including this year's basketball championship matchup, NHL hockey, conference finals, Major League Baseball, of course, fighting news from MMA to UFC to boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use the mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline is where the game starts. Once again, it's Rafael Barlowe with Dereon Seabron. Last segment. All right, what has been the biggest surprise for you during this NBA draft process?
Biggest surprise. I really haven't had any surprises. Like, it's been everything I really expected it to be, or like I heard of it to be. So I'd probably say, I don't know, just how quick the turnarounds be, like from workout to workout. That was like surprising. Like, you don't really get, like, you'll be lucky to get 1 or 2 days off in between workouts.
Yeah, I've heard that also. So, I appreciate you coming on. Did you have a workout today?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right. So I appreciate you even coming on during the workout. Now, have you had to do like some crazy travel? Like, I think one of the strategic things like an agent does, and shout out to your agent, Austin Walton, for setting this up. But I think one of the things that the audience probably doesn't realize is how strategic an agent has to be with scheduling the workouts, because you don't want to go from the Clippers workout on Monday to Boston on Tuesday and then somewhere else on Wednesday, because obviously there's some jet lag. And even though you're young and in phenomenal shape, you know, you still want to be at your best for each workout. So have you had any like crazy travel delays or anything like that?
Nah, see, Austin definitely did like he did his thing with like setting up the workouts, because when I did have those workouts on the West Coast, I was just on that side for a whole week. Like I did 3 workouts over there with Golden State, Sacramento, and the Clippers. But it definitely has been like a couple people talk about it, like doing a workout, saying like they got to fly off from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, and like it was just like you said, the agent wasn't like really doing their, I mean, the best they could have did to make sure that they not having like no crazy travel issues.
Yeah, that's so much stuff goes on behind the scenes that I don't think people are aware of, because you can read articles, and I'll never post it. Like, people have told me, oh, such and such had a terrible workout, and I'll never really post that or talk about it, because it could be out of context. It could be another player that's, you know, just wanting to make himself look good, or it could just be a situation where the guy went from, you know, Miami to Portland, which is probably as far as you can go. And but it can, on one hand, your agent is supposed to try to make sure the logistics work out. But then on the other hand, I could see if Miami only has this day available and you were in Portland the day before, then you got to try to figure out a way to make it work. Now, as far as like some of the players that you're going to get up against, are you working out with other wings? Are you working out with point guards?
I think I only had probably like 2 or 3 workouts where it been me, another wing, 2 like smaller guards, and then 2 bigs. But other than that, a lot of my workouts been like everybody like playing the same position, like big guards or like wings and stuff like that.
What has been like the best feedback you've heard from teams?
Like what team, or like what were they saying like in particular?
Yeah, you know, like the best compliment you heard about your game. Maybe like you mentioned earlier, team said they were shocked that you didn't know, or they didn't know that you shot the ball as well as you did.
Best compliment I probably heard was, you know, because like, I don't talk to him, I just get the feedback from Austin. So,
Okay.
What was probably the best feedback? Oh, just a team telling me how if I keep doing like playing how I'm playing, and I like how I did they work out, that I wouldn't be on the board by the time they draft, by the time they'll pick.
Okay. So I can probably figure it out and do the math and say, okay, this is a team that doesn't have multiple picks.
Yeah.
So has it like, was there like a wow moment, like when you walked into a facility? Like, for example, I remember the first time I went to the Bulls facility and I seen like the banners up. I'm like, man, Michael Jordan used to, I don't think he worked out there, but you know, just seeing Michael Jordan's banners. Has there been any like wow moments when you walk into a facility and seeing like?
Yeah, I definitely just had one. I want to say like 2 weeks ago when I was working out with Golden State. Like it was like 2 or 3 days before the first game of the finals. And like we walking in, and then like the team in there working out, and then I see Steph, and like he come over there and say what's up to us, and you know, like dap us up and everything like that. That's when I was like, oh, yeah, it's real now.
Yeah, I mean, now, has it hit you that we are about what, 8, 9 days away, 10 days away, give or take a few days away from the NBA draft? Has it hit you like my life can change in 2 weeks?
No, it ain't really hit me yet, just because I've been like locked in on these workouts and everything like that. But I definitely been having people, you know, like that I'm close to, or like in my inner circle, just text my phone or like hit me up, like, yeah, we such and such days away. But yeah.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I imagine it's an amazing thing, because I feel like even for myself, you know, I have these goals that I want to reach, but there's no date on it. You know, like I was telling one of my friends that he played in the NBA. I said, at least with your goal, you knew like, all right, this is the date where things are going to change, and it's coming up fast. And so I guess probably it makes it a little bit easier that you've had so many workouts that you haven't really had time to sit back and think about it.
Think about it. Yeah.
I know one of my fits for you that I think would be a pretty cool fit was, I mean, I think the Warriors would be good, but you know what my favorite fit is, and you don't even have to go deep into it, but my favorite personal fit is Toronto. And the reason why I think Toronto is a good fit, because Nick Nurse has this knack for just putting guys in the right spots and maximizing their potential. I look at Scotty Barnes, and I don't want to say I wasn't high on Scotty Barnes, but I mean, you probably played against him. And when I saw him at Florida State, I saw a guy that wasn't aggressive. He came off the bench. I mean, I knew he could run the point. I knew he could defend multiple positions, but Nick Nurse got the best out of him. He let him play with the ball in his hands, and Scotty was aggressive. So you look at Toronto's roster, they have a bunch of long, athletic guys that just hoop. And so I would love to see you in Toronto. They picked 33rd. You know, in your situation, hopefully you're not off the board, or hopefully you're gone by then. But then again, also, like, sometimes I don't think it matters where you go as far as number. It's about best fit in a situation, because I've seen guys that I was high on, they end up getting drafted high and they go to a team where they're just stuck in the corner and they don't really get a chance to, you know, just to maximize their gifts. But for me, Toronto is my ideal fit. And I would love to see you in that situation, because I think they can make the most of it. Well, man, I appreciate you taking your time. I know it's super busy. Had a workout today. I appreciate you coming on the show. So once again, shout out to each and every person that has made the NBA Big Board podcast your first listen of the day. I know I appreciate it. Hopefully I can continue to have more great content like this. But I want you to check out the Locked On NBA podcast. They've been covering the NBA playoffs from the first jump ball of the play-in tournament all the way into the NBA Finals. We are possibly one more game away, and this NBA season is over. And then it is draft time and free agency. Once again, it's Rafael Barlowe with my guest, Dereon Seabron. Once again, shout out to him for coming on the show during this busy schedule. And we are out.